Hello students, welcome back to the class again. Now we are again beginning with our chapter electricity. Since already we studied the different topics of electricity. The first was electric charge, then it was electric potential, third one was potential difference, and today we will study electric current. Let us recap the earlier topics which were studied in electricity. The first was electric charges, and since you know that electric charges are of two types, positive charges and negative charges, and generally these charges flows across the conductor. That means they move from one end to another, and when these charges move from one end to another end, that is called potential. Now what is electric potential? Electric potential is the amount of electric charges brought from the infinity to a point, or in other words we can say that the amount of work done in bringing a unit positive test charge from infinity to a certain point in an electric field, that is called electric potential. Then what is potential difference? Potential difference is always a flow of charge that is moving from one point to another point in an electric field. There we already supposed a point A and point B, and when this charges flows from point A and point B, that is called electric potential or potential difference. Now this potential difference or electric potentials are measured in volts, or other word we can say voltage, and it is denoted by V. And the small expression we studied earlier, V is equals to W upon Q, where W was the work done and Q was taken as the amount of charges that are flowing across the conductor. So we can also say it is the ratio of amount of work done to the flow of charges through the conductor is known as electric potential or potential difference. Now today we are beginning with our title, that is electrical. This is also a very important part of this chapter, and you are already familiar with this word electric current. I think you have studied in class 8, class 9. What is electric current? Electric current is actually, it is the rate of flow of charges. Now since already we studied the electric charges, when the charges are flowing from one end to another end in an electric field, these charges are actually nothing but electric current. Charges, the other word we are using for the charges is electric current. So rate of flow of charges across the conductor. Conductor means a metal wire, maybe copper, maybe silver, maybe aluminium. When they flow, the charges are flows through the conductor, we say electric current. Or in other words, it is also stated as the quantity of electric charges flowing through a conductor in unit time is known as electric current. Now, this SI unit is ampere, as it was discovered by our scientist Andre Marie Ampere, and that is why the unit has been stated by the name of the scientist, that is ampere, and it is denoted by A. And this electric current is denoted by the letter I. A we are representing ampere, and I we are representing electric current. Now a small expression is given for this electric current here. Now let us suppose that Q amount of charges are flowing across a conductor in a unit time T. The electric current I is given as Q upon T, or in other words we can say that it is a ratio of amount of charges or the quantity of charges flowing per unit time is called electric current. And if this electric current is taken in a unit value, that is 1 ampere, then the charges which are flowing across the conductor will be taken as 1 coulomb and the time in 1 second. So 1 ampere is now equal to 1 coulomb by 1 second. So we got another definition. Actually, there is a small question for you. That question is, what is 1 ampere? Or what is 1 ampere of current? The 1 ampere of current is stated as when 1 coulomb of charge or charges flowing across a conductor in 1 second, then the electric current is said to be 1 ampere. Now, in this electric current, we will see a small circuit. Now, here we have taken a battery here. I hope you may be knowing the symbol of the battery. Okay, see, this is the longer leg is always positive and the shorter one is negative. And this is a plug or a key, we can say that, or a switch. This is a battery here and a bulb or a lamp. Now when the charges are flowing either from the positive end or from the negative end, when from the negative end the charges are flowing in the form of electrons and the electrons are moving across the circuit, then the current will always flows opposite to the flow of electrons. So the direction of flow of the current is shown with the help of the arrows here. This way we can complete our circuit diagram by showing the arrows here. The battery is there. From the battery, when the current, this electric current is flowing with the arrows here, and this bulb will glow. When the bulb glows, means the circuit is in on position, or we can say this is the closed circuit. That means the switch is in on position, and the current is moving, which will be shown with the arrows. And when we switch off the circuit, then we cannot show our circuit with the arrows, and the bulb will also not glow. So this is about the electric current. So students, after the electric current, that is the rate of flow of charge, now we are moving on to the next topic, that is Ohm's law. Which is, this Ohm's law is one of the very important topic of our chapter, or we can say that it is the heart of the chapter. It was studied by a well-known scientist, that is George Simon Ohm, and actually what he did is that he made a study about the potential difference and the amount of current flowing across the circuit. So he stated this law between V and I. Since V is the symbol we are using for the potential and I is the amount of current flowing through it. So according to this Ohm's law, the definition, or we can say the statement, was given as the amount of current flowing across the conductor or across the endpoints of a conductor is directly proportional to its potential difference, provided, since there is a condition. That condition is what? Condition is that the physical quantities, because in physics all are physical quantities. Which two physical quantities are written here? That is, temperature and pressure should remain constant or same. When these two quantities will remain constant or same, that is temperature and pressure. So what this law states, that according to the Ohm's law, the amount of current flowing across the conductor, then it is directly proportional to its potential difference, provided the physical quantity, that is the temperature and pressure, should remain constant. Now let us see the circuit diagram given by the Ohm's law here. Now here we have taken ammeter, voltmeter, R stands for the resistor. This is a battery here, a key or a plug or a switch. Now this arrow shown here is actually representing a rheostat or represented as RH. So now since we know that current always flows from the positive terminal of the battery as the electrons are moving through the negative end, so the small lag on the terminal indicates the negative sign and the long lag indicates our positive ends. So we are showing the arrows again. Now since the positive terminal of this battery will be connected to the positive terminal of emitter, and then other end is a negative here, and here also in the voltmeter this is positive and this is negative. So and this is a resistance or a resistor is taken here across A and point B. So this is a small circuit diagram. This is a key again. Now the rheostat, actually we call this one as a variable resistance. This can vary the amount of current flowing through our circuit here. So by changing the potential here or the resistance, this variable resistance, we can change the current flowing through the circuit here. And the ammeter measures the amount of current flowing through the circuit, and the voltmeter, which is connected across the ends of the resistor, that is point A and point B, will measure its potential difference. Now a small expression related to the Ohm's law or given by the Ohm's law by our George Simon Ohm. Since he studied a relation between V and I, so according to the statement, the amount of current is represented by I here, it's directly proportional to V, directly proportional to potential difference. So I is directly proportional to V, or we can say that V can also be directly proportional to I. Do you know the meaning of directly proportional here? The directly proportional means when one quantity increases, the other quantity also increases. If one quantity decreases, other quantity also decreases. This is actually the meaning of directly proportional. Now, when we say that V is directly proportional to I, certainly when we are removing the sign of proportionality here, we can show that V is equals to, now we have used the equal to sign here, then we will write R here in place of sign of proportionality. This indicates what? The sign of proportionality is the R, which is used as a constant here. Now this can be taken as R is equals to V by I. A small expression we can obtain from this expression itself when we say V is equals to IR or R equals to V by I. That means R is the ratio of potential difference across the conductor to the amount of current flowing through it. So V upon I, it is the ratio. Now what is R here? We have taken the constant of proportionality as a R. We can call this R as a resistor also. A resistor. Here we can write this is a resistor. This is a voltmeter. This is our ammeter. This is our already battery, a key and a rheostat. So we can call this as this is our ammeter, this is our resistor. Now this R is also representing a resistor or a resistance. Now the SI unit we are using in place of this resistance or for resistance, that is with the name of the scientist as Ohm, and it is abbreviated as a symbol. Symbol is given as, this is an ohm symbol, and the SI unit of R, that is resistance, is ohm. Now we will see what is resistance. We are moving on to the topic verification of Ohm's law after this Ohm's law. Already we know that what is Ohm's law? That is the relation between V and I, or V equals to IR. Since V and I both are direct proportional to each other. Now look at here at this circuit here again. Resistor R, a voltmeter is connected across this resistance. An ammeter is directly connected with the battery, and ammeter is connected in series. A direct connection is there from positive end to the positive terminal of ammeter. But voltmeter is connected in parallel with the resistor because it measures the potential across the ends. Since we know the potential and potential difference. So if we take this point A and point B, and what exactly the potential across point N and point B will be measured by voltmeter. That is V. Now the directions of the current are shown here from the positive end. Since the electrons are moving through the negative end, electrons are generally negatively charged, and current always flows from opposite to the flow of electrons, that is, it flows from positive terminal of the battery. This is a variable resistor. The role of variable resistor means this variable resistor helps to change the amount of current flowing through the circuit here. That means when you change the amount, this variable resistor, then amount of current will also change, and this will change the voltmeter also here. When the amount of current is changed, of course, because current, that is I, and this is V, there is a directly relation between V and I. What relation? That is, current flowing through the conductor is directly proportional to V. So when we are changing the amount of current through the circuit, the value of V will also change. Now in this verification, we have to study this V and I only. So let us see a graphical representation for this. This is our x-axis, and here it is our y-axis. This is the origin here. Now on x-axis we are going to take the current, that is I, and potential is taken on the y-axis here, that is called potential difference on y-axis. Now if we take 0.01 ampere of current and the potential difference is 2 volts, potential difference is 2 volts, then second reading if we take, suppose that we assume this reading as 0.2 ampere, then it is 4 volts. For 0.3 amperes, here is 6 volts. For 0.4 amperes, we have taken 8 volts. Now, if we draw, since you know that these are the coordinates, first one is this, and certainly what happens, we can obtain a straight line, a linear graph is obtained for so we can say that these are the different coordinates here, and based on these coordinates, when it is 0.1, the potential difference was 2 volts. When 0.2 ampere of current flows through the circuit, then 4 volts of current can be measured at the voltmeter. The voltage means, that is, the potential will be 4 volts. When 0.3 ampere of current flows through the circuit, then 6 volts can be shown on this voltmeter, because voltmeter is an instrument which is used to measure the potential difference across the ends of any conductor or resistor. And for 0.4 ampere of current, because ammeter will measure the amount of current, so 0.4 ammeter, this ampere of current will be shown on ammeter here, and the voltage reading, that is on the voltmeter, we can see the 8 volts here, that is shown on the graph here, and we can see this at the origin, that means at the origin means 0, that is the current is also 0 and the potential across the conductor is also 0. This is the linear graph obtained here. Now, what exactly is the meaning of this activity? This activity shows that when you will use this relation to find the resistance, that is R. See, since what is the relation? R is equals to V by I. Now, what is the potential first reading? 2. If I take the 2 volts here, the current is 0.1. So we get 2 volts. The second one is, this is our first. Second reading, what is the second reading? 0.2 ampere, and the potential is 4. So R equals to, I will use 4 volts divided by 0.2. What is the reading obtained here? Here is 20 volts, 20 ohms. 20 ohms. Now, when I divide this by 0.2, that means 40 divided by 2, again 20 ohms. Third reading, R is equals to 6 volts divided by 0.3, that becomes 60 by 3, that is again equals to 20 ohms. Fourth one, R is equals to 8 volts divided by 0.4 ampere, and this becomes 80 upon 4. So if you look at this value of resistance, the resistance just obtained here, that means resistance is constant. All the readings are 20 ohms here, 20 each. Now this verifies that, this is our Ohm's law, that when there is a steady flow of the current, then there will be a steady potential difference across the conductor. Now, moving further, I think you are familiar with all the symbols which we are using in our electric current. You have studied earlier in class 8 also. There was a chart given in the textbook in the electricity. Only the new thing is resistance and the rheostat here. Wire, you know, the symbol of wire. Should I show you here? Symbol of wire is this one. This is a wire here, and lamp is shown. This is our lamp or a bulb. Then of course ammeter is shown with this symbol here. This is ammeter. Voltmeter. Cell is shown with the single long terminal and the short terminal. This is called cell. And the battery, when we join 2 or more cells, this is called a battery here. And resistance is shown by R, and the rheostat is shown with the arrow here over the resistor here, which is called a variable resistor. So these are the important symbols which you have to use this time in our electricity part. I hope this part is clear to you. Now, last one is that the relations which we have studied today, that is V equals to IR, and as well as we have used the electric current, that is I equals to Q by T. So first relation was electric current, and second relation we have used V is equals to IR or R equals to V by I. So based on this, I want you to please open the textbook NCERT and go through the numericals. Use this relation I equals to Q by T, or you can also get what is the Coulomb charge here, if I and T are given. Here also V equals to IR. If I and R both are given, you can get the potential difference. And from here you can find what is the resistance of the conductor. If voltage is given in the volts and current is given in amperes, then you can easily find the relation V by I and you can obtain the resistance of a conductor. So goodbye students. I hope you will do the numericals, and if any query you can ask me in the next class. Hello students. Nice to see you again. Back to our physics part, electricity. Now, after the Ohm's law, in our last class, we have already studied what is Ohm's law and what was the statement given by the George Simon Ohms. Actually, he studied the V relation between the potential and the electric current, and this was the expression given by the Ohms, that is V is equals to IR. Now, today we are going to study what is resistance. Now, resistance is represented by capital R, and we can write this, show the resistance in the form of a small circuit here, representing R here, having tail end and the main end. This expression we can obtain from the Ohm's law. This R, when you remove the I from here, that is V by I. It is a ratio of, what we can say, resistance. It is the ratio of potential difference across the endpoints or through the endpoints to the amount of electric current. Flowing through it. So we have just defined this relation here. What is R? That is R is equals to V by I, and we can state this expression as it is the ratio of potential difference across the endpoints to the amount of electric current flowing through it. That means V upon I, potential difference divided by electric current. That is called a resistance. In other words, we can also explain this resistance as, actually resistance is what? Charges are moving across the conductor when there is a hindrance or any obstruction to these charges. That means if something opposes these charges or the flow of these charges, we can say that is called a resistance. For an example, if we take the example of the flowing water. Now this flowing water can be stopped by constructing a dam. When we construct a dam, means the water which is flowing through the rivers will collect and gather before the walls of the dams. Now that is called a barricade or a hindrance. So in the similar manner, the resistance means, resistance, it is one of the property of a conductor that opposes or resists the flow of the current. So what we can say, the scientific definition we can state for the resistance as, it is the property of a conductor, and you know the meaning of a conductor, metal conductors, copper, aluminum, or maybe silver. So it is the property of the conductor that resist, this the meaning of resist, or opposes the frequent flow of electric current. Or the charges. The other name of charges is electric current. So when it opposes the frequent flow of the charges or the current by the conductor, that is called a resistance. Now this resistance is abbreviated by the R, and its SI unit is ohm, and it is abbreviated as by the symbol, and the symbol used here is so this is the symbol of resistor, and its SI unit is ohm. Now this R, what is R? R is the resistance. If we take 1 ohm, then we will write in place of the potential as 1 volt divided by 1 ampere. So 1 ohm, what is the actually value of unit ohm? That is 1 ohm. 1 ohm is the ratio of 1 volt to the 1 ampere. Or we can, this is a small question also for you. What is 1 ohm? So what is 1 ohm? So you can say that the 1 ohm is equals to 1 volt by 1 ampere. That is what, when 1 ampere of current is flowing across any conductor and its potential difference is 1 volt, then the resistance is said to be 1 ohm. So this is what the definition of what is 1 ohm. Now this resistance has certain factors. It's a very important part now. There are 4 factors that affects the resistance of a conductor that we will study after this. So this resistance that is given by R is equals to V by I, and since its SI unit is ohm and symbol is given as here. Now we are moving further to the resistance part. As already I gave you a question earlier, that is what is 1 ohm. Now let us start with the factors affecting the resistance of a conductor, or what are the different factors on which the resistance depends, and how these factors they affect our conductor. First is nature of the conductor. Now the nature of conductor means there are different conductors are there. As already we studied the conductors of different types as copper, Cu, then silver, Ag, aluminium, Al. So these are the different types of conductors are there. Now since these conductors are different nature. Nature means their properties are different. That is, physical and chemical properties are different. So if I talk about the silver here, silver is one of the best conductor. The best conductor means it offers the least resistance. Means the flow of the current that flows across the silver is very smooth even. Then it is followed by the copper. Copper is also another conductor which allows the flow of current, but it is not as smooth like silver. Or we can say there is a frequent flow of current through the silver, and there is a little less frequent flow of current through the copper, and finally aluminium has least flow of current. This is what the difference in their nature. So directly we can say that the nature affects the resistance of conductor. So depending upon the nature of the conductor or the properties of the conductor, the resistance is offered by them. Now second is the length of the conductor, that is L. Now here when we increase the length of the conductor, the resistance is also increases. It means length and the resistance, they are directly proportional to each other. Or we can say the R is directly proportional to L. If more is the length of the conductor, then more the resistance offered by it. Got it? Yes, students? When more is the length of the conductor, more will be its resistance. That is why we can write this R is proportional to L. We give this as 1. And you know the meaning of direct proportional? If one quantity, if we are increasing the length, the resistance will also increase. If you are reducing the length of the conductor, the resistance will also reduce. Third factor is area of cross section. Now, what is the meaning of area of cross section? Do you know the meaning of area? Area you have studied in mathematics also. Cross section means the inner area of any conductor. When I say the conductors are generally, they are circular in shape or cylindrical in shape, and since when I say the cross section, that is called its thickness. How thick our conductor is? Less thicker, more thicker. When the area of cross section is more, or more the thicker is our conductor or the wire. And now I will use the wire also in place of conductor. So when if the wire is more thicker, then least the resistance offered by it. What is the meaning of least? That means they are inversely proportional. Inversely. One is at the top and other is at the bottom. That means the resistance is inversely proportional to area of cross section A. It is denoted by A here. Again, we will use area of cross section is A here. That represents our area. When I write this as R is inversely proportional to area of cross section, we always write inversely proportional quantity at the denominator place. That is R is proportional to 1 upon A. So the meaning of this as, if larger is the area of our conductor or the wire, then least the resistance offered by our conductor. That means there will be frequent flow of current takes place if thicker is our wire, if more is its area of cross section. If least is the area of cross section, less is the area of cross section, or less thicker is the wire, means thin is the wire, then more will be the resistance offered by it. And more is the resistance means it will opposes our flow of current. And if it is thicker, then least the resistance offered by the conductor. Now we will take it, this one is the second. Now let us combine this 1 and 2. On combining 1 and 2 equations, we can write R is proportional to L by A. R is proportional to L by A. That is length upon area of cross section. Now removing the sign of proportionality here. Now we are removing our sign of proportionality. We can write this as R, putting the sign of equal to sign. We will place another symbol for the constant here, that is called a rho. Rho into L by A. So now we have removed this sign of proportionality here, and we are placing a new constant of proportionality. This symbol indicates rho. ROW. So this is a rho, another symbol. This rho, actually what is rho here? Since R is resistance, L is length, A is area of cross section, this rho is resistivity of the conductor. Now resistivity, another term we got here. What is resistivity? After resistance, now we are getting a new term called resistivity. This resistivity, which is symbolized by rho, this resistivity is conducted by all the conductors. all the different metals which we are using in our electricity, they have resistivity. And this resistivity is always constant for different conductors. If I talk about the copper, copper has its own resistivity. When I say silver, silver has its own resistivity. Aluminium has its own resistivity. So different conductors which we are using in our electrical circuits have have resistivity represented by rho. Now we can obtain an expression for the rho here. This rho can be written as rho is equal to, now taking this A towards the R, so I will multiply A here, R into A, and this L we will take here at the denominator place, cross multiplying. A we have taken towards the R and L we got just below R into A by L. So we got another expression here, rho, which is called specific resistance or resistivity. See, we can also say that this is specific resistance. Specific resistance that is rho, that is equals to R into A by L. Now, if I want this, what is rho? Rho, if I take the value of rho, first of all, let us see what is its SI unit. Very important is SI unit. What is the SI unit of rho? SI unit of rho is, if I say SI unit, so SI unit is ohm meters, and we can write this as symbol is ohm. This is the symbolized as ohm meter. So this is the SI unit of rho. And now again the question comes is that, again there is a question for you. What is 1 ohm meter? What is 1 ohm meter? Now it's a question for you again. What is 1 ohm meter? 1 ohm meter I will place here in place of this expression. Then I have to take 1 ohm as a resistance. In area of cross section, areas are always taken in squares. So I will use a meter square here. 1 ohm into 1 meter square divided by, again the length will be expressed in meters, divided by 1 meter. So 1 ohm into meter square divided by m. What you are getting here? When the resistance of the conductor is 1 ohm and its area of cross section is 1 meter square and the length possessed by the conductor is 1 meter, then specific resistance or the resistivity of that conductor is said to be 1 ohm. Students, so actually, did you got the meaning of a specific resistance now? Actually, specific resistance or the resistivity is a natural capacity of a conductor, because all the conductors, they bear a specific resistance, that is called resistivity. Now, if we take the example of copper, the specific resistance or the resistivity of copper is 1.7 into 10 raised to minus 8. Similarly, if we take the example of silver, the specific resistivity of the silver is 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 8 ohm meter. Since the unit is ohm meter, so we can place this ohm meter here. So this specific resistance called resistivity is fixed for these conductors. Actually, it is a natural resistance offered by the conductor. All the time it remains the same, that or constant. So this is about the specific resistance. Now one more factor is left, fourth one, that is temperature. Now if you remember the temperature, we mentioned this temperature in our Ohm's law. Do you remember that Ohm's law? In that Ohm's law, we said that the temperature and pressure, two physical quantities, remains constant. Now here the temperature directly affects the resistance. That means we can say that the R is directly proportional to, here I will write, R is directly proportional to temperature T. That means if you increase the temperature, the resistance of a conductor will also increase. So direct is a directly proportional relation. If resistance increases, because it is directly depends upon the temperature, on increasing the temperature, the resistance also increases, and on when the temperature gets decreased, this resistance also get decreased. So it is a directly proportional relation here. Temperature directly affects our resistance of a conductor. Since you know that when we increase the temperature, what happens to the conductor that is made up of a metal, and generally we say the metals they expands. When the metals they expands, the length will increase, and when the length will increase, what happens? The resistance will also increase. Since already we have studied that length and the resistance they are already directly proportional. So on increasing the temperature, the resistance of a conductor is directly proportional, and thus when the temperature increases, the resistance of a conductor also increases. So this is about the resistivity and the resistance. I hope that you may have understood these factors here. Now in the next class we will study our next topic coming, that is combination of resistors in series combination and parallel combination. You should be ready for that. Okay then, bye.